What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
Welcome back to Top Bins, the show bringing you all the latest news and notes from around the beautiful game, whether you call it football, soccer, or anything else. We're here for you. It's the official footy podcast here on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. KB, Harrison, fresh off a 10.5-hour road trip from Bloomington, Indiana to South Jersey, and Mark back at you with a breakdown of all the action from last weekend in the Premier League. We'll recap a little of the Carabao Cup as Newcastle take home the title over Liverpool. And then some news broke today as we record this on Wednesday that the USL here in the States are adopting a promotion relegation system in a couple of years, and it is the first instance of that in North American sports. So we're going to discuss that, what it could mean for the landscape of North American sports, potentially the MLS and everything else, and just dive a little into what that'll mean, moving forward for soccer here in the States. But before we get into everything, make sure you guys are following us on the socials. It's at FC Top Bins on Twitter and TikTok, and at Top Bins Pod on Instagram and Threads. Subscribe to the pod on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave us a 5-star review. It genuinely does help the show continue to grow, helps more people find Top Bins, plus all of our shows here at Underground Sports. So keep on subscribing. Keep on leaving those 5-star reviews. You can also leave comments on Spotify now, so you can drop us a comment there if you so choose. And subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's where you get full video episodes of Top Bins every week and full video episodes of every show on our network. Clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. It's all on our YouTube channel, including all of our March Madness live streams that we'll be doing throughout the tournament that you won't want to miss out on. We are 7 subscribers away from 1,050. Let's get there sooner rather than later, which means we're that much closer to 1,100, which is inevitably our next big milestone. And this show is brought to you by our friends over at Classic Football Shirts. Guys, they are the go-to spot if you want to upgrade your wardrobe and find all the latest for your wardrobe to rep your favorite football club. They've got brand new collection for AC Milan that looks absolutely sick with the trefoil Adidas logo on them. They just dropped a new Adidas varsity jacket for the Jamaican Football Federation that looks absolutely sick, plus a whole lot more. Use our link in the description. That's how Classic Football Shirts knows you're coming from us, and it helps support the show. And they're genuinely the best. They are the go-to for all of your vintage look football apparel and merchandise. So again, use our link in the description, and shout out to Classic Football Shirts for sponsoring the podcast. Boys, we had a much smaller week in the Prem last weekend, obviously with some cup action going down in the Carabao Cup, and then the international break coming up as well. But some good results across the board for most of us, and some good results just for the agendas that we have in some instances. But we did call it with the first matchup here. Everton and West Ham draw 1-1. That was the most draw game if we've ever seen one. I feel like that's the first time that Everton's quote unquote underperformed since the managerial change, where it's felt like they've been grinding out like these 1-0 wins, 2-1, and they find a way to win. This feels like that classic Everton from early in the season where it was like, yeah, they're playing a team that's kind of on their caliber. They're going to draw.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's Everton. It's West Ham. As you said, it's it's a game where you basically just expect a draw. You're not expecting either team to go out there and really beat the other team. They're very even-keeled teams. They play the same way. They around the same spot in the table. Draw made sense.
I also, scrolling the timeline on Saturday, saw a bunch of West Ham fans already feeling like they're turning on Graham Potter, which is just very hilarious to me.
Sooner rather than later, it was going to happen.
The tweets were great. It was like, we're never going to make Europe under Graham Potter. I was like,
Yeah,
even
they're right
I as a
about
new even I as a new
it.
soccer fan know the trials and tribulations there. But very funny that they're already realizing it, and it's been what, a month and a half maybe of Graham Potter being at the helm for them.
They should have watched his stint at Chelsea to get any kind of clue out.
The next game here, Wolves win 2-1 against Southampton. They couldn't pull it out. It felt like an opportunity that Southampton could have gotten a point here, but Wolves kind of dominated this game. They went up 2-0, early in the second half, and then Southampton get the one goal late, but again, just wasn't meant to be for Southampton to record a point as they stay stuck at 9. Nottingham Forest double up Ipswich 4-2. They stay right where they have been in the table. Brighton Man City draw. We go undefeated against Man City this year. Brilliant performance. Just grinded it out. City go up early with the Holland goal in the 11th minute. My boy Purvis is just an absolute dog. Scores there. And then Marmoush answers. Get the own goal on Kusanov, which was great. And then, a 2-2 draw. I'll take that. I'll take that there.
You should have won it at the end, though.
I agree. There was multiple chances there to win it. But at the end of the day, you go unbeaten against City in a season is fantastic, and you stay pretty much level where you need to be if you're Brighton, still 7th in the table. Newcastle obviously has a game in hand because they had Carabao Cup action last weekend, but still sitting in 7th. A couple teams came through for us as well to kind of knock some teams off their high horse and give us a little breathing room behind us, but I'm still feeling good. And then obviously we're going to gear up for FA Cup action, which it was always the FA Cup. All eyes on that. But overall, it was a result that I could live with. It wasn't a loss, and that's ultimately what I was more nervous of with City coming off of just a tragic 1-0 game against Nottingham Forest the week before. So to kind of draw even there and scrap it up with them for, 90 plus minutes, great result in my book.
Yeah. I mean, and going no losses against City in a season, that always feels good because especially just fuck that team. Just straight up fuck that team. I have I hate the rivals of Chelsea. I dislike Arsenal, I dislike Tottenham, and those make sense. The only reason I should dislike Man City is because they're another traditional top 6 club, but there's just something about them. Like it's not like they disgust me in a different way than like a Man United disgusts me. Like there's just something grimy about them. And I don't like the recent success. And Pep Guardiola kind of pisses me off for no good reason.
I think they're just an easy team to hate, no matter who you're a fan of. They're very easy to hate and very easy to just dislike, no matter who you root for.
I feel like they're the new Dallas Cowboys of the Premier League.
Manchester United is Dallas Cowboys.
That's what I'm saying. Man United, yeah. I guess Man United still kind of fit that bill as a once great team that fell to dog shit. But like I'm talking about like
are they Chiefs like, Mark?
What?
Are they Chiefs like?
Yeah, I call them the Chiefs.
That's a better comparison. I was saying because just both their owners are completely hateable.
I don't give two shits about their ownerships.
Speaking. But good win, and then on top of that, Tony Bloom, Brighton's owner, had a horse in a race over in England that was 100-1 odds. First race of its career wins, so keep on bringing the money in. Great win there as well.
Don't worry, Chelsea will give you plenty of money.
That too, for Tony Bloom to then go gamble on his horses. Brentford win 2-1 over Bournemouth. That was a huge result for Brighton. I was thrilled to see that. come to fruition. That was a big win for Brentford to kind of stay where they are and kind of bolster themselves a little bit. You know, they've been not on a decline, but they've kind of like plateaued over the last month or so. But you know, they're 3 points off of top 10 and they're sitting right behind Bournemouth. That was a big time win and kind of a good display there for them to go toe to toe with a team like Bournemouth, who ever since we decreed it on this podcast with those two massive injuries, we were like, are they going to be able to sustain anything? And they've just gone on this insane run. This feels like the first like kind of hiccup that Bournemouth have had, where, you know, a team that you would expect them to beat, they kind of fall victim to it, and Brentford get a big time win.
It is what it is.
In the Top Bins Derby, Arsenal 1, Chelsea 0.
You go ahead, Mark. I got nothing to say.
Let me just say that you all fucking suck.
I mean, I've been new. I've known this.
Also, Cole Palmer is scared of the Emirates. Is yet to play a single minute at the Emirates. He had to pull out with a injury, but whenever he needs to stat pad against the lower table side, he's more than willing to show up against Leicester. I'm just saying, sheets are saying he's a stat padder.
So just
I mean,
wait
like,
till all these 16 and 17-year-olds come in next season, and we.
Oh yeah, for those 8-year contracts where like you won't be able to sell them when they suck, and you don't develop them because you buy more 16 and 17-year-olds.
Yeah.
I will say, honestly, like when we scored, like I was never worried really about Chelsea ever doing anything offensively. He had one chance where Ryan let slip through his hands somehow, and it went wide. And then after that, nothing really. I will say that both Enzo Fernandez and Wesley Fofana are fucking cunts. I hate them. Wesley Fofana should have been sent off for a stomp on Rice. And then Cucurella should have been given a penalty for that handball. But I don't know how VAR looked at both those and said, yeah, no, it's all good. Play on. Of course, when Chris Kavanagh comes back to the Emirates, he's a pathetic piece of shit rep against us again. But we won. Chelsea are shit. And London is always red. And yeah, on to the international break, where I just hope my players just stay healthy. And Saka should be back after the international break, so please.
Yeah, and I think there was a report too that Cole Palmer's being held out of training and everything for the international break with a hamstring. Allegedly. Fulham 2, Tottenham 0.
Cool.
They get battered everywhere they go.
Made the weekend a little easier to swallow.
Want to hear a crazy stat?
Yeah.
So Spurs have 15 losses this year. That's more losses than Arsenal have had the last 3 years combined.
Jesus Christ.
So
that's wild. And then
here's another fun few stats. For Arsenal, they've considered Big Six matches against Chelsea, Chelsea, City, United, Spurs, Liverpool. They have gone 19 games unbeaten now, which is like crazy considering not even like say 7 years ago we were just get battered by all of them, except for like a miracle win against Chelsea, and then beating Spurs at home. But that's just we always do that. And then for Chelsea, out of their last 26 games against Arsenal, Liverpool, City, and United, I want you to how many games do you think they've won?
I don't care. We're still the last London club to win a Premier League, so.
Answer the question, Harrison.
Like 2. I don't care.
1.
Great.
1.
Looking nice right now, though.
We have just as many trophies as you do, so I don't want to hear it. If not more, probably.
Have you had any Premier Leagues within the last 20 years? I don't think so.
The last one in the Premier League was 20 years ago.
Okay. 1 in 20 years.
It's fine. We're still the bigger club.
20 years ago, 2025, 2005, that was Chelsea.
03, 04, okay.
21 years ago, so.
Whatever. We're still the bigger club than you.
Cool.
And always will be.
And then
until you win another Prem, London is blue.
London is not blue at all. You should focus on not blowing your Champions League spot.
Yeah, at least we have 2 Champions Leagues.
Yeah, we're gonna win one before you do win another one.
I can't see that happening.
You want to bet?
I just can't see Arsenal winning the Champions League.
Watch when we do. When we do, I'm going to be insufferable.
Sure.
And then to wrap up the weekend, United win 3-0 at Leicester. Good win for them.
Yeah, I mean it's Leicester.
It's
for
Leicester.
sure.
Any team should beat Leicester and not struggle.
Chelsea beat Leicester.
You struggled.
Oh my God.
And you beat them 1-0 at home. Look inwards.
Still in 4th. I'll take it while I can.
And our look at the table is brought to you by our friends over at Biñho. Guys, Biñho is the next big tabletop gaming experience for your tailgates, your man caves, your she sheds, wherever you decide to break this out, whether it be at a party or with just some friends hanging out. You are going to be the talk of the event because Biñho is that next big tabletop gaming experience. It's paper football meets foosball, and they have officially licensed boards for Premier League teams, a whole MLS collection. And right now they are doing Biñho Madness, where you submit a bracket. They've got a whole bracket of 64 where you select, and if your bracket is correct, you have an opportunity to win all 64 boards from Biñho. Go to their website to check that out. And if you want to shop Biñho, use our link in the description. And when you go to checkout, use code BiñhoBennett62, and you'll get 10% off your entire order from our pals at Biñho. Again, that's code BiñhoBennett62 to get 10% off your next order from Biñho when you use our link in the description. Look at the table. Liverpool still at the top with 70 points. Arsenal in second with 58. Nottingham Forest 54. Chelsea with 49, hanging on to 4th place. Man City with 48. Newcastle and Brighton with 47. Fulham with 45, as well as Aston Villa. And Bournemouth rounds out the top 10 with 44. Brentford in 11th with 41. Palace with 39. Man United with 37. Tottenham with 34. Everton with 34. And West Ham also with 34. Wolves with 26. And then relegation nation, Ipswich Town with 17. Leicester City with 17. And Southampton still stuck at 9 points.
Standard.
Carabao Cup also happened this past week. Newcastle take home the title against Liverpool. Isak with the inevitable, nail in the coffin winner. Dan Burn with the first goal for Newcastle. It's very funny to me how, not that I have anything really against Liverpool, but how Liverpool went from talking about winning potentially every tournament this year to now it's just all eyes on the Prem, because that's the only one they really have a shot now.
Isak driving his price up too with every single week.
Well, I wish somebody would look at me like Isak looked at Thierry Henry.
I'm telling you, he's coming home.
It's that or nothing.
He's coming home. He's coming. That 14 is still available for him. It's still available for a reason. It's for him. Thierry Henry, Mikel Arteta, one phone call with him. He's coming home. And then we're going to get a cut price deal when they don't make Champions League either. And then we're winning the league next year.
I saw this take on social media this weekend too. I wanted to get your thoughts on it, Mark. Somebody said that Thierry Henry should just quit trying to be a manager and should become a club's director pretty much because of how idolized he is, and people would just literally go to the club to play for a team that Thierry Henry is working for. I feel
agree.
like that 100% should be the move for him.
I agree. It should be the aura he has is unlike anything else. So might as well Might as well just give him a job like title closest to like a sporting director, and yeah, just have him talk to players and convince them to come to Arsenal. So I'm 100% in favor for it.
Like, I feel like to almost equate it, it's almost like what the Flyers did with Danny Briere, because I feel like so many people in the NHL just have a lot of respect for Danny Briere from his career. And it's like, oh, he's the GM now, and he had experience, obviously, as a GM in the minors with hockey as well. But do the same thing with Thierry Henry, and like he's globally respected by damn near everyone. You know,
I agree.
I think that would be one of, if not the smartest move Arsenal could make at any point. Like you drop the bag in front of them and say, hey, the job's yours whenever you're ready to take it.
I agree. Fully agree, and I think he should do it.
Thoughts on Newcastle pulling the quote unquote upset and taking home the Carabao Cup?
Good for them. I mean, it's been what, 69 years since they had something like that, 70 years. So
it's a funny number.
yeah, nice. The sex number. We're all mature adults here.
Yes, clearly.
Yeah, no, I'm a little annoyed because I didn't want them to win. I personally would have rather have Liverpool win it, but good for them. Let's just hope that there's no fall off going forward.
Honestly, it makes me happy knowing they won and ruined Liverpool's chances at a double. Because if they're going to win any trophy, just let them win the Prem. They've got that in hand. Don't let them win anything else. PSG and Plymouth did their jobs. Newcastle finished up the job. So, what can I say? I'm a hater.
I also find it funny that like once like all the contract talk for all of Liverpool's big players like started really like being publicized and everything, that's when like all of their extra, competition and everything started to kind of crumble. That's really I'll have to like go back and see like, see if I can find timestamps of when it all happened, but like it feels like as soon as, the stuff with Trent started coming out and the quotes from Salah come out where it's like, we're not really close on a contract. I think that was around like December. Ever since then, it feels like that was like the first like brush of air on the dominoes to really like cause a little ruckus to prevent Liverpool from like being dialed in on winning multiple championships.
People start bag watching and all of a sudden shit starts going down the drain.
And then I also found it funny that I found this clip on Twitter from Redmen TV, which is Liverpool media outlet. They were like banging the table saying that the Carabao Cup meant more than the FA Cup.
Because they were in the final, that's why. That's literally the only reason why they said that.
They're saying,
don't get me wrong, Carabao Cup is really cool, but if I want to know what you're smoking if you think the Carabao Cup is more important than the FA Cup.
Basically, the argument was the FA Cup interferes with your Premier League play. It messes up your schedule late in the season. He's like, can you imagine playing in the FA Cup now where like he was talking about like Liverpool's last away game is at Brighton. He's like, that could still be a midweek game. And he's like talking about like all of the schedule shuffling that the FA Cup caused and everything. And like that was his whole argument.
Wait,
So
what was the wait, say that again. Say the last part again.
Basically, that like the FA Cup causes like schedule shuffling, and that like Liverpool's last away game is at Brighton, and he's like that could still be a midweek game depending on if Brighton makes the cup final and everything. And I was just like, it sounds like a skill issue more than anything.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're huffing that copium pretty hard. and this is coming from someone who needs copium to survive being a Chelsea fan. So,
but yeah, I was laughing pretty hysterically at that take. So yeah, Newcastle wins the FA Cup. Does that drive Isak's price up in your book, Mark? Or does it
probably especially because he scored?
Yeah,
but true. Like I don't think he's gonna be like they say it's gonna be like 150 million. It'll be closer to 100.
That checks out.
Like Like I like it'll probably be like 110, and like we'll break our transfer record if need be. But like I doubt there's no way they're gonna get 150 million.
I was gonna say, if you had a price where like you'd be like you'd walk away, what would your price be if you're
120 is the most I do for him. Because
120 hard.
I like Shesko. I also like Liam Delap too. I think he's gonna be really good. And he's already proven it in the Premier League. So it's not like there's going to be that adaptation period for Sheshko. So 120 is probably like the most I'd be willing to pay.
Fair. Very fair.
So yeah, Carabao Cup goes to Newcastle, and the Carabao Cup was on Paramount Plus here in the States, and that's where you can catch all of your Champions League action as well. We love Paramount Plus here at Top Bins. It is the easiest way to access so much soccer action. And for all of our listeners here stateside, if you are in college right now, I have the deal for you right now. Through the end of March Madness, Paramount Plus is offering students 50% off any Paramount Plus package when you sign up using our link in the description. I've never seen a bargain like that in the streaming era. So if you want to catch all the March Madness action, have Paramount Plus ready to rock and roll for more Champions League action, plus their entire back catalog of TV and movies, is absolutely incredible. Use our link in the description. Sign up for Paramount Plus. Check the page. Literally, all you got to do is type in your name and your student email, and you can sign up for any Paramount Plus package and get 50% off using our link in the description. So get started with Paramount Plus, and if you're a student, get 50% off any Paramount Plus package when you use our link in the description. Last bit here. It's
like
insane. I saw that, my jaw dropped. I was blown away. But yeah, shout out to Paramount Plus. Last bit here. This news came across today as we record this on Wednesday. The USL is going to adopt promotion and relegation in a historic first for U.S. soccer starting in 2027-2028, I believe, is the first year that it's going to occur. The club owners voted on Wednesday for that system, marking the first time the European-style system would be implemented in the United States. Last month, the USL confirmed plans to launch a Division I men's professional league in 2027 to rival Major League Soccer within the sanctioning standards of the U.S. Soccer Federation. I present this to you guys. Number one, I'm a huge fan of this because I've just always been a proponent for promotion relegation as a standardized system for sports. But with this coming stateside, how do you see this kind of potentially changing the optics, number one, on just how soccer is kind of distributed and competing, wise in the US? And then do we ever see promotion and relegation hit any other major sport?
So I think that if you're watching the USL, you're probably already a big fan of the game, unless you just somehow got tickets to your local team's game. You don't know, maybe not know much about it, but you're going to see a good game regardless, because those USL matches, they're bangers. They always put on a good show. But if you're a new fan to the USL, you've never heard of promotion relegation before, this is something new and exciting that no other league in the United States does. And that'll pique your interest right away and get you intrigued into what this league is doing and how they're going to work. I think that's a genius move on the part of the USL. Promotion and relegation should have been a thing in United States soccer from the jump, in my personal opinion. And whether this will affect other leagues, I personally hope that it affects the NFL. I want the NFL and USFL to do a promotion relegation thing so we don't have any more tanking teams. We don't have any more dog shit Jaguars. Bring up the St. Louis Battlehawks. Put them in the NFL. Let them cook. Let them cook. St. Louis needs an NFL team. I would love that. And It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. I would love it, but that's just not feasible. I'd say the league that it's most feasible with probably would be the NBA, considering how good these G League teams are comparatively to like the other minor league teams. Like with baseball, I could see the three tiers of single A, double A, triple A maybe doing something along those lines. You wouldn't go from like the MLB down to triple A, but like maybe if a team has 20 wins in triple A, they get sent down to double A, and their double A affiliate, if they did better, they get bumped up, and just something like that. But I don't think this affects any other sport in the United States. I wish it would, but I don't think it happens.
I think it's a good thing. It provides more competition to the MLS, which is a good thing. I don't see it ever happening for another sport though, just because, for example, like there's so many logistical issues that come into play, like draft, for example, and like all the contracts and everything. And there's also just this huge drop off in quality of competition and players from say the NFL to USFL. And so the USFL would get destroyed like by 40 points every week if something like that were to happen.
They need to
but
bring
I
out
think
like a steel chair to even compete with the NFL teams.
exactly. So, but I think it's a good thing. Surprised they never did it beforehand, but I don't know. It's gonna be. I'm just curious to see how it all works out the first few years, especially because like if they create a new league, then those teams that get promoted are gonna just go down right away.
Right.
So like it will probably be a while before we see like the like true effects of like relegation and promotion before we truly see a promoted team like actually making noise once they are promoted. But it's exciting, new change. So
Yeah, I think the only league I could see it adopted by would be the MLS, and that's simply because of the big reason why relegation promotion doesn't work in the United States is because number one is TV contracts. The TV deals that all these leagues have that are so dispersed throughout so many TV providers makes it nearly impossible for it to happen, especially in the major four sports. But because MLS has that contract with Apple TV, that makes it, I think, a little bit more feasible. But like you said, Mark, logistics with contracts and a draft is also part of it. But number one is the TV contract, because you go overseas, promotion relegation works there because if you're in that market, the only games on, if you're in Manchester, the only games on are Manchester United or Manchester City if they're playing. You're not going to be able to watch, Brighton or Liverpool if you're there. That's the whole point. There's so many blackouts overseas with that to make it so that you, one, go to the game, and two, why is somebody going to watch, a team that's in the third tier when, Arsenal versus Chelsea is on and you can watch that? You're going to lose TV ratings. So TV ratings is a huge part of why promotion relegation won't work. But I would say I wouldn't put it past Adam Silver to adopt it because he just likes changing the NBA as much as possible. So it wouldn't shock me in the slightest if he's like, oh yeah, we're going to create a whole bunch of new stuff for the NBA and have promotion relegation. But the USL said that the league would operate completely separate from MLS despite working under the same sanctioning by US Soccer as a professional soccer league, and the new league would give the USL a three-tiered pro system featuring the Division 1 plus a second division called the USL Championship and a third division called USL League 1. To which the USL CEO Alec Papadakis said in a statement on Wednesday, a new chapter in American soccer begins. The decision by our owners to approve and move forward with this bold direction is a testament to their commitment to the long-term growth of soccer in the United States. This is a significant milestone for the USL and highlights our shared vision with our team ownership to build a league that not only provides top-tier competition, but also champions community engagement. Now, just as it is in the global game, more communities in America can aspire to compete at the highest level of soccer it's time. And then there was an article from WKOW.com, which is from Madison, Wisconsin. Forward Madison, which is one of the teams in the USL, were very pro this promotion relegation system. They compete in League One. They welcome the change. The new system would allow the team to play into the tiers above its current level. And then the owner and chief operating officer, Connor Kaloya, said, since launching Forward Madison in 2019, we have always worked with the community to try to build a club that served the best interest of the fans, and adopting promotion and relegation is the best for our fans. And we look forward to participating in the future. Like we said, I think it's a huge boost to the game here in the United States, and I think it's going to get a lot more eyes on the USL. It's still a few years away. 2027, 2028 is when it's going to go into effect, but I think it's going to be super fun. And like you said, Mark, it'll take probably 2 or 3 years for us to really see the overall benefactor of the system fully come into effect. But once that comes around, I think it's going to be off the charts with just fans of these teams who have been rooting for them since their inception going to war, just like people that are fans of the Premier League or Serie A or whatever it may be with their teams, and now you get to do it domestically.
Yeah. Also, just real quick, I was looking at the St. Louis Battlehawks roster, right? Did you know Denzel Mims is on the St. Louis Battlehawks? What the hell happened to him?
That's a name I haven't heard in quite some time.
Yeah.
Last thing I have here, I'll send it in the group chat too. This comes from footy_headlines on Twitter. They did one of those wheels that kind of breaks down things where they fall in a certain category. And it was the 2005-2006 Premier League sponsors.
Oh, I saw this.
So funny. And then someone was like, compare it to today, please. And more than half of today's Premier League is sponsored by a gambling company.
Yep. And we don't even have one. So
that was the comments on the follow-up was like, where's Chelsea? Where's Chelsea?
Yeah.
In the bin.
I also love how they classified Ed Sheeran being the sponsor of Ipswich Town as media.
I mean, not wrong.
Not wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, more than 50% is gambling now. Newcastle is classified as tourism.
Oh yeah, because we all know the lovely tourist destination of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. United is technology. Ipswich Town is media. Arsenal and Man City are airlines, and then Tottenham, Liverpool, Brighton are all finance.
Isn't finance just gambling, but with a fancy name on it?
Not Brighton's. Brighton's
Not
just
Brighton,
good old
but,
American Express. It's gambling with your credit score, sure.
Yeah. Either way, financials. There we go.
Yeah, because in the 05-06 wheel, there was one team with a gambling sponsor.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Middlesbrough was the only one with a gambling sponsor.
That's how it should be, honestly. Let the lower tier clubs get the gambling sponsors, and then big name clubs get big name sponsors.
You would think. You would think. Last thing before we get out of here too, make sure you guys join our bracket challenge for March Madness. It is linked in the description. We're trying to make this our biggest bracket challenge to date. It is sponsored and presented by our friends over at FOCO. So if you want to join our bracket challenge, the link to join is in the description, and then use our link in the description to shop with FOCO. They have a ton of MLS stuff and a ton of officially licensed sports apparel. And when you go to checkout now through April 8th, you can use code Underground10 and you'll get 10% off your entire order from our friends at FOCO. And Underground Madness 2025 is proudly presented by FOCO. We have a bunch of live streams coming up this weekend with a bunch of our creators and everything. That's going to be a ton of fun as we watch all of the March Madness action. So get in on our bracket challenge. The winner's going to win an awesome prize pack from FOCO as well. And use our link to shop with FOCO and use code Underground10 now through the end of March Madness to get 10% off your entire order. It's another episode of Top Binge, short, sweet, and easy to the point. We will more than likely have an episode that obviously no games happening next week, but we'll figure out something fun to do on next week's episode. So we get to veg out and enjoy March Madness if you're here in the States for sure. But be sure to follow us on the socials at FC Top Bins on Twitter and TikTok, at Top Bins Pod on Instagram and Threads. Subscribe to the pod on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave us a 5-star review. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/@undergroundsportsphiladelphia. Leave a like on the video. Drop a comment in the comment section and click that bell icon so you know whenever new videos go live. You can also leave us a voicemail during the international break. It's speakpipe.com/FC Top Bins. We can react to your voicemails. We could potentially have a whole voicemail bag episode next week if we get enough. So leave us a voicemail, speakpipe.com/FC Top Bins. This has been another episode of Top Bins. Enjoy the international break. Enjoy March Madness if you're here in the States. And we will see you on the next one. But until then, we're getting the heck up out of here. See ya.